People don't get to see it like this. There's just something about this red and white kind of orange color and this incredibly famous Bryce clear skies that really make it an incredible trip down here in the winter. So we're getting a tour of Bryce Canyon National Park today from Mark and Shoshana. Mark is the Deputy Chief Ranger here at Bryce Canyon, and these guys get out a couple times a week on the trails to check it out. What is it you like about getting out up here? It's obviously nice and quiet.
It's nice and quiet this time of year. It's also just nice to see the nice contrast in colors and the snow on the ground with the hoodoos in the background. I think it's just really pretty.
There's see some wildlife every now and then.
You know, there's still some wildlife in the area. We'll still see some some mule deer. We'll still see a lot of rabbits actually this time of year and that kind of thing, but not nearly as much as the fall. I think a lot of folks are surprised by the snow in general and just seeing how much it's here. I think a lot of folks come and, like you're saying, they think it's just so close to the desert, inland desert, and the lower elevations that they really come here and like they're not really expecting this much snow.
So Shoshana, what kind of people do you see when you're out here on the trails? The skiers like to talk a lot. Do you get a chance to talk to some of the people you see out here?
Yeah, a little bit. See all kinds of people from kind of all over the area, and lots of both a mix of snowshoers and skiers.
And is it kind of like the summer where you hear a lot of different languages on the trails out here?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, kind of a mix. A lot of folks from Europe that come over too.
And do you see a lot of experienced skiers, or do you see some people who are kind of just doing it for the first time?
Runs the gamut, you know, from the absolute beginner first day out to folks that are real experienced and just motoring along.
What kind of responses do you hear from people about what do they say when they're out here? Are they, you know, they're stunned by the beauty, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think everybody's just out to have a good time, and people are pretty enthusiastic and pretty excited to be here.
Right. So Mark, tell me a little bit about the skiing here in the park. Is there a permit required to do this?
There's no permits required for day skiing, and if you were to ski on the end of the rim trail in the south end of the park, you wanted to spend the overnight, you would need to get a backcountry permit for that. We see a lot more folks snowshoeing back there than skiing, though. And then skiing's prohibited under the rim, and everything in the main amphitheater is all prohibited, mostly because of erosion problems and also safety.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of steep. Yeah. I don't think I'd want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to ski either way. Yeah. Looking at it, it looks rough. So.
Right. And you see, there's not a lot of snow where you'd really want to hit the air anyway. And then you also have a cross-country skiing map available in the visitor center.
Yeah, and there's two trails that are kind of designated for cross-country skiing specifically. The Fairyland Trail, which is actually a road in the summertime, and the trail out to Pariah Viewpoint are kind of the main skiing trails, and then the trail we're on, which is the rim trail between Fairyland and Sunrise Point.
Then talk a little bit about, when you go into a national park, you always have to be aware of the potential damages to the natural resources. What are things that the skiers need to pay attention to avoid?
We want to make sure we're not damaging any kind of the live trees that are still standing and up. We want to make sure that we're not cutting too far off and kind of pushing stuff along the rim or any of the geologic features that way, so we want to kind of be careful along that. Then, the other thing we're kind of looking at too is making sure you're prepared for it. We actually have had a few situations where people come out and get out onto the trails without any kind of equipment and end up turning into a rescue.
And it's the same kind of general rules would apply as in the summer. Sunscreen, water, layering.
Correct, yeah.
And a headlamp just in case.
Right.
Yeah.
It's always a good idea. And always let people know where you're going to be. And that's something that national park visitors may not think of very much, but you could easily leave a notification at your hotel or at the visitor center.
And I think the other thing we see a lot of times too is folks underestimate the difficulty here at the higher elevation, and the fact that, especially if you're hiking below rim, that you're coming back up, on the way out, as opposed to most hikes where you're hiking down on the way out.
Right.